Nike's unexpected invitation to Alex Eala stunned the entire WTA and ignited a brands war that shook the world of tennis to its core. What began as a whispered rumor in private boardrooms quickly escalated into the biggest sponsorship scandal women's tennis had seen in years. Contracts were shredded, reputations crumbled, and rivalries ignited, all while at the center stood a 19-year-old Filipino rising star who never sought this chaos, yet whose single decision forced every player, agent, and executive to take notice. Nobody predicted her rise. Alex Eala wasn't supposed to matter, at least according to the tennis establishment. Born in Manila and raised on clay courts that cracked under the Philippine sun, she carried a dream far bigger than her country's struggling tennis infrastructure could support. While other prodigies trained in million-dollar facilities, she was forging her path against all odds. Eala clawed her way through the junior circuits armed with second-hand equipment and an insatiable hunger, but everything changed with her 2022 U.S. Open Junior title. That victory was more than a trophy, it was a declaration. She dismantled opponents with surgical precision, her forehand a weapon that left commentators scrambling for superlatives, while coaches at the Rafael Nadal Academy whispered her name with reverence. Sponsors who had long ignored her emails suddenly flooded her agent's inbox. But what truly made Eala dangerous was that she didn't just win, she captivated. Her post-match interviews revealed a fierce intelligence that transcended typical athlete platitudes. She spoke passionately about representing Southeast Asia and carrying the hopes of millions who had never seen someone like them succeed at this level. Filipino fans didn't just support her, they worshipped her, and social media erupted every time she stepped on court. By early 2024, Eala had cracked the WTA Top 200, a modest milestone by superstar standards, perhaps, but seismic for a nation that had produced 0 Grand Slam contenders in the Open era. Every tournament became must-watch in Manila, with bars packed at 3 a.m. to watch her qualifiers, and politicians name-dropping her in speeches. She had become more than an athlete, she was a movement. And in the ruthless ecosystem of women's tennis sponsorships, where brands invest in certainty rather than potential, movements inevitably attract predators. Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, EGOT, these names moved merchandise, filled stadiums, and dominated headlines. But Eala represented something rarer, an entire nation's untapped market. The Philippines, with its 115 million people and fervent sports fandom, suddenly had a tennis heroine. Whoever signed her wouldn't just gain an athlete, they'd gain a country. Her existing sponsors knew this, having locked her into contracts as a hopeful junior and paying modest fees for what they assumed would be modest returns. Standard practice, safe bets. Nobody anticipated she'd become invaluable so quickly. But someone else was watching. Deep within Nike's global scouting division, a call came one Tuesday afternoon in March. Eala's agent, a seasoned Manila-based representative who had navigated Philippine sports politics for 2 decades, answered an unrecognized international number. What followed was a 47-minute conversation that would rupture the tennis world. Nike wasn't interested in a standard endorsement deal, they wanted totality. Full apparel, footwear, equipment collaboration, and a 10-year partnership with guaranteed minimums that dwarfed anything Eala currently earned. The numbers were obscene 8 figures, not over a decade, but upfront promises that redefined what a rising star could command. Upfront, the deal came with performance bonuses triggered by every ranking milestone, tournament victory, and Grand Slam appearance. Nike promised a signature shoe line, prime advertising slots during major tournaments, and campaigns alongside Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal. They weren't offering a mere contract, they were offering immortality. But the situation was complicated. Eala was already under contract. A regional sportswear brand had signed her 3 years earlier as a promising junior, providing reasonable pay, gear, and travel coverage, functional, but far from glamorous. That contract didn't expire until late 2025, meaning breaking it would involve legal battles, penalty payments, and public acrimony. Nike didn't care. Their legal team had dissected her existing agreement with surgical precision, identifying exit clauses, negotiation windows, and loopholes they could weaponize. More disturbingly, they had calculated exactly what it would cost to obliterate that partnership and deemed the price irrelevant. They wanted Eala, and they wanted her now. It was unprecedented. Nike offered to personally cover all legal fees, penalty payments, and settlement costs associated with terminating her existing sponsorship. Eala wouldn't pay a single dollar, she would simply walk away from her old brand, sign with Nike, and watch her career trajectory transform overnight. It was predatory. It was brilliant. It was capitalism at its most ruthless. Her agent urged caution. Terminating a valid contract could incinerate relationships, alienate industry insiders, and paint Eala as disloyal. In the Philippine sports community, utang na loob debt of gratitude was sacred. Walking away from the brand that had first believed in her risked being perceived as betrayal. Yet the numbers didn't lie. This was generational wealth, global stardom, the difference between being a good player and becoming a legend. Nike gave her 72 hours to decide, and those 3 days became the most agonizing of her life. She consulted family, mentors, and former coaches, each offering different advice. Her parents reminded her of the sacrifices they had made, the years spent struggling to fund her training. But here's what Nike didn't mention. Her original sponsor wasn't some nameless regional company, it was a subsidiary directly partnered with Adidas. Suddenly, this wasn't just a contract dispute between a teenager and a small brand, it was Nike declaring war on Adidas, using Eala as its weapon. And Adidas doesn't lose quietly. Within 48 hours of Nike's announcement, Adidas filed breach of contract litigation seeking $12 million in damages. Their legal argument was airtight. Eala had signed a binding agreement with performance clauses that automatically extended her contract when she reached certain WTA rankings. Nike's lawyers had either overlooked this detail or gambled that their financial might could obliterate legal technicalities. They gambled wrong. Adidas unleashed a PR blitzkrieg that painted Eala as a traitor and Nike as a corporate bully, releasing internal emails showing how they had supported her through injuries, funded travel to obscure ITF tournaments, and personally mentored her through difficult losses. They showcased photos of Adidas executives celebrating her junior Grand Slam victories. The message was clear: we built her, Nike bought her. The Philippine tennis community fractured instantly. Half celebrated Eala's ambition, arguing she owed loyalty only to herself. Professional sports was cutthroat, and sentimentality paid no bills. She had earned this opportunity through talent, not charity. Adidas, after all, would survive. They sponsored hundreds of athletes, and losing one wouldn't collapse their empire. But the other half felt personally wounded. Many felt Eala had become a symbol of Filipino resilience, of succeeding despite limited resources. Her original sponsor embodied that struggle, an underdog brand that had taken a chance on her. Abandoning them for Nike's billions sparked outrage. Critics argued she had betrayed the very narrative that made her special, reducing her to just another athlete chasing money. Social media erupted into a war zone. Hashtags like #TeamEala and #AdiFaithful trended simultaneously. Fan accounts that once celebrated her now posted emotional videos expressing feelings of betrayal. Some accused her of being manipulated by greedy agents. Others defended her right to maximize earning potential during her brief athletic prime. Comment sections devolved into vicious debates about loyalty, capitalism, and whether athletes owed anything to the brands that initially believed in them. The locker room civil war reached Indian Wells. During a routine press conference, a journalist asked Irina Sabalenka about the Eala-Nike controversy. Sabalenka, never one to dodge tough questions, leaned into the microphone and delivered a response that detonated across sports media. "Look, I understand business, but there's something called honor. You don't burn bridges with people who believed in you when nobody else did. That's not ambition. That's just being cold." Sabalenka never mentioned Eala's name, but she didn't need to. Within hours, her comments had been clipped, analyzed, and weaponized. Eala's supporters accused Sabalenka of jealousy, suggesting that established stars resented a rising competitor attracting Nike's attention. Defenders argued Sabalenka had merely articulated what many felt but were too diplomatic to voice. Then, during a Miami Open interview, Ons Jabeur entered the fray with the opposite stance. Athletes have short careers, maybe 10 years if injury-free, and sacrifice their bodies, youth, and personal lives. If someone offers life-changing money, you take it. Period. Anyone saying otherwise either doesn't understand or is pretending to be noble. Suddenly, the WTA was divided along philosophical lines that transcended Eala's situation. Loyalty versus pragmatism, tradition versus capitalism, collective ethics versus individual survival. Coco Gauff, always thoughtful on social issues, posted a nuanced Instagram story. She didn't know Eala personally and couldn't judge her decision, but noted that women athletes face criticism for business moves that men get praised for. If a male player switches sponsors for a bigger deal, would anyone even question it? Gauff had identified the unspoken dynamic gendered expectations. Male athletes renegotiate contracts constantly and maximize earnings without moral scrutiny, but when Eala did the same, She was branded greedy, disloyal, and ungrateful. Yet not all female players agreed with Goff's framing. Alina Svitolina, speaking through a translator at a European tournament, offered a more critical perspective. Money is. Reputation is everything. Once you show people you'll abandon commitments when something better comes along, why should anyone trust you again? Sponsors, coaches, teammates, they all remember, and the internet is undefeated in manufacturing chaos. Within 72 hours of the Nike announcement, #Alligate was trending in 14 countries. Twitter became a battlefield where nuance went to die. Reddit threads spiraled into 1,000-comment wars dissecting every angle. TikTok creators built entire accounts around hot takes, some supporting Eala's hustle, others condemning her alleged greed. Philippine Twitter split into warring factions. One side argued Eala was being crucified for the same ambition that Filipinos celebrated in businessmen and politicians. She had made a strategic career move, yet was judged more harshly than male athletes who switched sponsors constantly. Manny Pacquiao, for instance, had changed promotional companies multiple times without moral condemnation. The opposing faction felt personally betrayed. Eala had positioned herself as the humble underdog, the provincial girl who succeeded through grit despite limited resources. Accepting Nike's offer, especially allowing them to bulldoze her original sponsor, shattered that image. She suddenly seemed like every other celebrity who forgot their roots once fame arrived. Then the conspiracy theories emerged. One viral thread claimed Adidas had intentionally sabotaged her 6 months after Nike's invitation. The dust never settled, it only redistributed. The lawsuits eventually reached private settlements, terms confidential, though industry insiders suggest Nike paid Adidas a substantial sum to make the litigation disappear, while Eala's original sponsor accepted an undisclosed buyout. Lawyers on all sides claimed victory, but nobody truly won except the attorneys who earned millions in fees. The precedent had been set. Contracts in women's tennis were now negotiable through sheer financial aggression. If a brand wanted an athlete badly enough, traditional agreements could be demolished with sufficient capital. Smaller sponsors were terrified. Regional brands that had historically nurtured young talent now faced an impossible calculation: invest early in promising juniors, risking that megacorporations would poach them once they became valuable, or wait until athletes proved themselves, by which point bidding wars priced out everyone except giants like Nike and Adidas. The result was predictable. Sponsorship opportunities for emerging players began drying up. The very pipeline that had allowed athletes like Eala to develop was being strangled by the controversy her situation created. Meanwhile, Eala herself faced an identity crisis. She won her first WTA title 4 months after signing with Nike, a significant career milestone, but the shadow of the saga loomed over every achievement. T was a milestone, but the celebration felt hollow. This wasn't just about one athlete or a single sponsorship deal, it was about power. Who wields it, who craves it, and what gets destroyed in its pursuit. Nike didn't simply offer Eala a contract. They offered her a choice between survival and principles, between family security and public approval. When she made the only rational decision available, the world punished her for it. Perhaps the real villain wasn't Eala, but a system that forces teenagers to make impossible choices and then judges them for choosing survival. Perhaps it was the fans, who demand that athletes remain humble, relatable, and indebted, even when the stakes are life-changing.